So Jay Roach, the director of the Austin Powers trilogy, the Meet the Fockers trilogy, and the producer of Borat and Bruno, returns to direct a biographical drama film about Dalton Trumbo, one of the most well-known American screenwriters of all time. What gives? In case you don't know who Dalton Trumbo is, here's a short history lesson. In the 1930s and 40s, Trumbo became one of the highest paid screenwriters in Hollywood, earning as much as $80,000 per year. After the Second World War ended, the USA and the USSR turned against each other, so Hollywood studio chiefs created the Hollywood Blacklist, basically a practice denying employment to American entertainment professionals such as filmmakers, musicians, etc., if they were suspected of sympathy or even membership in the Communist Party. Yes, there is a Communist Party in the USA as well. Trumbo aligned himself with the Communist Party in the early 40s, and sure enough he found himself on the respective list, damaging his career and forcing him to continue writing screenplays to whoever would hire him, undercover as it were, using fake names and having other people take the credit for it. The big break that would signal the beginning of the end of the blacklist was him finally being credited for the writing of the screenplay for Spartacus, directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Kirk Douglas. He went on to write several more awesome movies, some were even Oscar winners, and he even directed an adaptation of one of his own novels, Johnny Got His Gun. If you haven't seen that film, I urge you to watch it, it's very good. The song and also the music video for One by Metallica was inspired by Johnny Got His Gun. So if you haven't seen the movie already, what the hell is wrong with you? God, you people are ignorant. Hey, I'm kidding. Some critics have attacked this film for being historically misleading, claiming that the real Trumbull wasn't exactly the supporter and defender of everyone's right to free speech as he is made out to be in the film, and that during certain periods he completely embraced and defended much of the actions of Joseph Stalin and even the Third Reich, at least during the war when they were occupying France and Poland. Ronald Reagan has been quoted in saying that Trumbo actually considered the Soviet Constitution to be even more democratic than the American one. Ouch. Now, even though politics play a big part in this movie, and I think they should have played an even bigger one, I'm not here to talk about the politics, I'm here to talk about the movie. So if you're interested in reading further on Dalton Trumbo's controversial political views, I posted some links down below. Let's get right to it. This film is like a crossover between Hail Caesar and generic drama film, which might explain why I enjoyed it, but also why I didn't think it was amazing. It is a film about a man who just wants to do what he does best, but is prevented by the powers that be, while also being a film that gives you glimpses into the Hollywood system of the time, while also touching upon the subject of the Red Scare, which is basically America's fear of anything having to do with communism. So you could tell that this was a treat for an enthusiast of the 1950s such as myself. While Hail Caesar seemed like a straight-up mockery of that period at times, this film tries to have it both ways, in the sense that it tries to be this run-of-the-mill Oscar bait type film made solely to earn Academy Award nominations for its actors, while also trying to be this light-hearted film with a comedic edge. Which would actually explain the King brothers, two producers who hired Trumbo at a certain point to write screenplays for their company. Man, these two are like the screwball comic relief of the film. I don't know if this is how they were in real life, but there is a scene in here with one of them that is something like straight out of a cartoon. It is the scene where John Goodman destroys his office with a baseball bat, scaring a guy who suggested to him that he should fire Dalton Trumbo. The biggest problem with this film is that it doesn't really have any serious problems. There isn't a single lackluster performance in this whole film, and Bryan Cranston proves yet again that he is one of the most versatile actors in the business. Speaking of Oscars, Bryan Cranston was actually nominated for the award for Best Actor for this very role, alongside Eddie Redmayne from The Danish Girl, Matt Damon from The Martian, and probably one of my favorite performances of last year, Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs. But of course Leonardo DiCaprio had to win, because he ate some raw liver and fought a CGI bear. Makes sense. Like I said, there isn't a single bad performance in this whole film. Even the actors portraying John Wayne and Kirk Douglas do a fine job. Which was especially surprising to me because I find it really hard to buy it sometimes when famous people with very iconic mannerisms like John Wayne, like Kirk Douglas show up in films and they are played by somebody else, because most times it just seems like an impression. But these guys do a fine job, and even though there are a lot of characters in this film, there is never a beat that is missed. Everything moves along at a very nice pace. It's almost like if it were a nicely wrapped present for you. That is precisely why films like this don't stand out. Because just imagine if they had the balls to go a little bit further, to take a step in a more edgier direction, and explore some of the hypocrisy of this man's political views, then this could have been a very good political drama. Because they basically allude to it only a single time. It's by far one of the best scenes in the movie, when one of his friends is calling him out on his hypocrisy, claiming that while he has these radical views, he would never give up on his fortune for the cause he is fighting for. And his answer to that is...
That's where the radical and the rich guy make a perfect combination. The radical may fight with the purity of Jesus, but the rich guy wins with the cunning of Satan.
Please, tell me more! But instead we get to see him arguing with his daughter from the bathtub, because he's too busy to come down and have some birthday cake. Tense, yeah. This is a very good film, but it's not made for a general public. If you're a film buff, and if you're interested in that part of history, then yes, I would recommend it, because you also get a very good Bryan Cranston performance in the bargain. And even if you aren't, I would still recommend it. But just know that you're not gonna get anything out of this other than what you would get from your typical biopic. So that's it folks for this one, thanks for watching as always, I will see you later with other reviews, goodbye!